In the Caribbean waters off Aruba, where pristine beaches meet the endless Atlantic, lies a mystery that has haunted investigators for nearly 2 decades. What began as a graduation celebration transformed into an international enigma that would expose the dark underbelly of paradise and challenge everything authorities thought they knew about missing persons cases. But before we uncover the mystery, hit that subscribe button below. It was May 30th, 2005, in the early hours before dawn, when the last confirmed sighting of 18-year-old Natalee Holloway occurred outside Carlos and Charlie's nightclub in Oranjestad, Aruba. The Mountain Brook, Alabama native had been celebrating her high school graduation with 124 classmates during what was supposed to be a carefree trip to the Dutch Caribbean island. The Holiday Inn where Natalee's group was staying sat along the famous Eagle Beach, its white sand stretching for miles under the relentless Caribbean sun. Palm trees swayed in the trade winds that had carried ships to these shores for centuries, and the sound of waves masked the growing concern among her classmates when she failed to appear for their departure flight. Witness statements from that final evening paint a picture of a young woman who had been drinking with friends before accepting a ride from 3 local men. Joran van der Sloot, a 17-year-old Dutch student, along with brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpo, claimed they had driven Natalee toward her hotel around 2 in the morning. Their stories would change repeatedly in the days that followed. The initial police investigation revealed inconsistencies that defied logical explanation. Security cameras at the Holiday Inn showed no footage of Natalee returning to the hotel, yet the 3 men insisted they had dropped her off near the main entrance. The parking lot remained empty during the crucial time frame, contradicting their account entirely. Local fishermen reported seeing a young woman matching Natalee's description walking alone along the rocky coastline near the lighthouse hours after she was supposedly dropped off. The woman appeared disoriented, stumbling over the jagged coral formations that lined the shore. When search teams scoured the area days later, they found only a single sandal wedged between 2 rocks, though it could not be definitively linked to the missing girl. More disturbing were the reports from hotel staff, who claimed to have witnessed unusual activity that night. A maintenance worker discovered wet sand tracked through the hotel's service corridors, leading from a rarely used back entrance to the elevator banks. The sand contained fragments of seaweed and small shells typically found only in the deeper tide pools along Aruba's northern coast. The cell phone records revealed another puzzle. Natalee's phone had continued to ping cellular towers until nearly 4 in the morning, long after van der Sloot claimed to have left her at the hotel. The final ping originated from a tower serving the remote southeastern tip of the island, an area known for its treacherous currents and hidden caves carved into the limestone cliffs. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they uncovered a web of connections that seemed to extend far beyond a simple night out gone wrong. Van der Sloot's father, Paul, worked as a judge in training on the island and had been overheard giving his son legal advice in the days following Natalee's disappearance. Phone records showed multiple calls between father and son during the crucial first 48 hours. The Kalpo brothers' internet search. These searches had been conducted in the weeks leading up to Natalee's arrival, suggesting a level of premeditation that authorities found deeply unsettling. Local residents began sharing stories that painted a more sinister picture of the island's underbelly. Several women reported being approached by the same group of men in previous months, always at the same nightclub, always with the same offer of a ride back to their hotel. 2 tourists from Germany claimed they had been driven to a secluded area and threatened before managing to escape. The most disturbing discovery came from a local dive instructor who found unusual markings carved into the coral reef about 2 miles offshore. The symbols appeared fresh and had been etched with precision into the living coral, creating a pattern that seemed to point toward a specific coordinate. When divers investigated the location, they found only empty water and a seafloor disturbed as if something heavy had been recently moved. The breakthrough that changed everything came from an unexpected source. A tourist who had been reviewing her vacation photos weeks later noticed something extraordinary in the background of images taken near the lighthouse on the morning of May 31st. Enhanced by FBI photo analysts, the pictures revealed a small boat anchored in waters that locals insisted were too dangerous for nighttime navigation. The vessel belonged to a charter company that had no record of any trips scheduled for that evening. The boat's GPS system had been mysteriously wiped clean, and the captain claimed to have no memory of taking it out that night. Security footage from the marina showed the boat leaving its slip at 3:15 in the morning and returning just before sunrise, its deck hosed down thoroughly upon return. More chilling was the discovery made by a retired geologist examining the limestone formations along the coast. Hidden within the natural cave system that honeycombed the island's northern shore, he found evidence of recent excavation. The disturbed sediment contained fibers consistent with the type of clothing Natalee had been wearing, along with traces of a chemical compound used in commercial concrete. The cave itself presented an impossible puzzle. The excavated area was accessible only during the lowest tides, and the work would have required intimate knowledge of the island's tidal patterns and geological structure. The precision of the excavation suggested professional equipment and expertise far beyond what the three suspects possessed. Years later, despite confessions that were later recanted, despite extensive searches of the island and surrounding waters, despite international pressure and media attention, Natalee Holloway's fate remains shrouded in mystery. The case files contain hundreds of pages of testimony, forensic reports, and investigative findings that collectively paint a picture of something far more complex than a spontaneous crime. The Dutch authorities eventually declared the active investigation closed, citing lack of evidence and the passage of time. Yet the questions remain, lurking beneath the surface of paradise like the dangerous currents that surround the island. The truth about what happened during those dark hours before dawn may be buried somewhere in Aruba's coral sands, waiting for the right tide to reveal its secrets. The case stands as a reminder that even in paradise, darkness can swallow the innocent without a trace, leaving behind only questions that may never find their answers. What do you think really happened to Natalee Holloway during those crucial hours before dawn? Subscribe to explore more cases where the truth remains hidden beneath layers of mystery and deception.